What's up, Crossers? 네, 여러분 안녕하세요. 브리스TV의 김태훈입니다. 저한테 영어 말하기 어떻게 해야 잘하느냐 이런 질문들 참 많이들 하시는데요. 제가 항상 드리는 말씀은 말하기는 말을 해야 는다 라는 말씀을 자주 드리는데 그러면 사실 말을 하기에 제일 좋은 방법은 영어를 말하는 나라에 가는 거잖아요, 그죠? 근데 여러분들이 만약에 영어로 말하는 나라에 갈 예정이면 저한테 말하기 어떻게 늘려라고 질문 안 하실 거예요. 그게 안 되니까 이제 못 가시는 경우라서 저한테 한국에서 있으면서 영어 말하기를 늘리는 방법이 어떤 게 좋냐라고 이제 질문을 주신 거겠죠. 그래서 제가 그런 영어 말하기 연습을 할 수 있는 그런 서비스를 이용을 해서 실제 미국인 교사 자격증 있는 선생님들한테 좀 물어볼까 해요. 어떻게 하는 게 원어민의 시각에서 말하기를 늘리는 가장 좋은 방법일까? 이런 것들을 제가 직접 인터뷰를 하고 여러분들과 그 내용을 쉐어하도록 하겠습니다. So yeah, to cut to the chase, right? Here in South Korea, there are lots of students who want to learn English, but then their weakness is always speaking. You know, their speaking skills always fall short compared to other areas. So in terms of how they approach practicing their speaking, right? Do you have any tips that you like to share with them?
The biggest tip I would say is don't try to pronounce large, complex words all at once. And usually when I do a pronunciation practice, I have them, if there's a word they cannot pronounce, we break it into the different sections, into the different sounds, and almost rhythmically put it together. Say a simple word like remaining. And so we would break it into remaining, 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 remaining. Yes. Remaining. Yes. And sometimes to just be almost childlike in your imitation of sounds. You know, a child doesn't automatically know how to pronounce words, but they just listen and they imitate what they hear. And so you can imitate, like if you're watching a movie, try to imitate the actor saying the sound. It's almost like playing, and having fun, rather than putting pressure on yourself to pronounce it correctly. And, you know, I have to do this. I have to do this. Have fun with it.
So basically, you're saying they should take it slow, one thing at a time, right?
Yes, one thing at a time. Increase the difficulties of what you read and what you listen to, and move from simple sentences to more complex sentences, more complex structures of words. And even if you may not understand it, it's good to get the practice and start to push yourself to more advanced levels. That's the only way you're going to. If you stay within the same track all the time,
Right.
and that's where you're comfortable, that's where you will stay. That's where you will remain.
But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So usually the advice I give to all students that want to improve their English in general, of course, Cambly helps a lot, but exposing yourself to English every day is going to make a huge difference. So that can mean reading English books, listening to English podcasts, English language podcasts. That's going to help you a lot and kind of expose you to different things. And even like starting to read the news in English, whether it's like BBC, CNN, just different English language sites are going to help. And what also helps is just downloading English language news applications on your phone. I mean, just exposing yourself to that every day. That is also going to help as well.
I mean, the best way you can improve your speaking skills really is immersion. You know, where you actually live in the country and you speak to natives every day. But I guess the second best way you can do it is like this, you know, because you can be exposed to so many different accents. You can mind like a Manchester accent, England,
Love your accent.
Thank you. Or Australian, or New Zealand, or Canada, or America, or South Africa, you know, you can speak to people instantly with all these different accents. So Cambly is a good way for this, I think. Most people from Asia, they've studied English to some extent, and their grammar and the vocabulary is pretty good because they've studied this at school, but they haven't had the opportunity to speak. So they know all the components, but they don't kind of put it together to speak. They don't have the opportunity. And also there's a shyness about South Korean people. They don't like that, you know, they're afraid to make a mistake, so they feel very shy when they first come to Cambly anyway. And I think part of my job is to make them feel comfortable, so that the brain works, you know, the brain works in English, it relaxes, they can flow then, you know?
You know, like, I guess that has to do with Korean culture as well, in part, right? Because it's all about Koreans and the Japanese people too. They're all about saving face. So they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to look stupid, right? So that's why they're too shy to just practice and make mistakes. They don't feel comfortable making mistakes in front of others, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I think they get over it after they've been on Cambly, you know, maybe once or twice. They get over this and they calm down and they feel a bit more comfortable. But at first they're very I don't want to make a mistake, you know. I say,
so they're all
relax.
withdrawn.
Yeah, relax. It's only me. I'm easy, you know.
I think that showing up to Cambly is a great place to start. Just getting out there and applying their skills and speaking. I think reading can be really helpful as a way to gain new vocabulary and see the structure of the language. But then in the moment, having to put what they're learning together when speaking to someone, I think that's the best way to go. And of course, it's hard to make mistakes and errors, but everyone that they're going to speak to is going to understand. And so just going for it and trying it out.
So what are some of the things that they shouldn't do when they're practicing their speaking?
Well, I would say giving short answers is more of a challenge. So pushing themselves to speak at length when possible. But yeah, I would say there aren't too many shouldn'ts, but the more the student can try to speak, the better.
Schools, they focus too much on grammar and reading, but not speaking. So their speaking is pretty weak, even after studying English for decades. So if you have any advice or tips for them in terms of improving their actual speaking skills, what would that be?
Yeah, so I hear that problem pretty much. I think that isn't just a South Korean problem. I think it's like, it seems to be almost everywhere that the people focus just on the grammar. Like, for example, even in the United States, a lot of times we'll learn like Spanish, for example. Like as kids, we could take years of classes. We might know some vocabulary and some grammar, but they can't really speak. To be honest, I think the best way to do it is things like Cambly, because there's really no shortcut to speaking. The only real way you can speak is by actually speaking. So I kind of think the best way to learn a language, especially if you're starting really young, like if countries are starting their kids at like 5 or 6 years old, I almost would skip just focus on grammar altogether and just try to do a full-on immersion at that age, because it's, you know, that age they're learning still just like naturally. And I just noticed that when you just focus on grammar and vocabulary, yeah, maybe you can kind of know it, but you don't really know how to use the language. So I think full-on immersion at the young age is the best way to do it.
So have you ever taught Korean students by any chance?
Yes, I've taught a few Korean students here on Cambly and on other platforms.
So do you have any advice for those who are learning English as a foreign language? like in terms of improving their speaking skills?
Yes, I think the most important way to improve speaking skills is by practicing. So using platforms or apps like Cambly to speak with native speakers is the best way to improve speaking skills and learn how to correct mistakes that we can make during speaking.
So Jennifer, would you like to explain what a regular session looks like how this Cambly, the whole Cambly thing works?
Well, the wonderful thing about Cambly is that it's very flexible. A student can sign on at any time convenient for them, and they can either choose to have general conversation with tutors based on any topic that they choose, or they can choose a more structured lesson plan where the tutor or the student can select a lesson to cover for the day, where they learn new vocabulary, they practice making sentences, and answering open-ended questions.
How about the duration of a single session? Like, is there any like set time?
There's no set time, so that's up to the student to decide. They can choose either a 60-minute plan where they have 60-minute conversations or 30 minutes. And there are even some 15-minute plans where if they don't have much time to practice due to a busy schedule, they can choose a 15-minute plan or 30-minute or 60-minute, whatever works best for their schedule.
자, 그래서 많은 선생님들한테 말하기 늘리는 방법에 대한 좀 조언을 구해봤는데요. 다들 공통적으로 많이들 하시는 말씀이 결국 말하기는 말을 해야 는다 라는 게 좀 공통적인 이야기인 것 같아요. 근데 아까 잠깐 인트로 때도 말씀을 드렸지만 우리가 영어로 말을 하는 환경에 있지 않는 게 문제이기 때문에 이렇게 뭐 인터넷으로 쉽게 접속할 수 있는 서비스들을 활용해 보는 것도 아주 좋은 또 새해에 여러분들이 영어 말하기를 정말 확 끌어올릴 수 있는 그런 방법이 아닌가 생각을 합니다. 그리고 일반 전화 영어랑은 조금 다르게 일단 면대면으로 사람이 얼굴을 보면서 하는 그런 서비스이기 때문에 그런 점에서 굉장히 실제 어떤 사람들과 소통할 때 필요한 그런 여러 가지 어떤 manners도 있을 거고 표정도 있을 거고 gesture도 있을 거고 이런 것들까지 같이 한번 연습을 해볼 수 있는 좀 그런 서비스가 아닌가 하고 생각을 해봅니다. 그래서 여러분께서 혹시 관심이 있으신 분들께서는 Cambly 한번 꼭 써보시고요. 새해에는 여러분들 영어 말하기를 좀 확 끌어올릴 수 있기를 바라겠습니다. 그러면 저는 다음 비디오에서 또 유익한 정보 가지고 찾아뵙도록 할게요. To the other side.